might leave that in because how funny would that be of just like the first minute or so of just nothing while I make my coffee. I had so many things as I was setting up for the podcast that I was like, I'm going to say this, I'm going to have all this stuff to talk about. I have updates and cool things. And then I'm just like, blank. I went to Malibu for a wedding. That was super fun. I've never been to Malibu before, so it was a different experience. Um I really like it down there. It's really like I walked a little bit of that. It was just by myself, obviously, because it was just for a work trip for video, and I walked along the beach right there, and lots of surfers, lots of which makes me really need to go surf again. It's literally been years since I've last surfed. We have a place in Mesa that I need to try, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Hopefully, a little bit more with whatever free funds I can throw at that hobby. Um, but yeah, so I was out there and I was like, man, this is super nice. It honestly seems like a different country over there. Just the rolling green hills, and it's just beautiful. Um, and that film actually is going to come out probably in the next couple days. I'm really pumped about that film. Another cool little thing. This is just like a little win. I'll keep talking about Malibu in just a second, but a cool little win just came to my mind is the last like 8 clients that I've had for weddings. All my couples, have like had an amazing experience and then also have left like a review on my Google page, which is awesome. Like I don't know, it's just like I wasn't pushing that so much for Google reviews, and then I finally found a good way that I can do it where it's like not weird, but it's just like thank you for like I'm so glad that you appreciate the work and that you love it, and then it's like love to have you copy and paste the stuff on the Google page. So it's like just really chill and not like forced or anything because I never wanted anything to be like awkward or forced or just like, oh, you just want my review or whatever. I don't know what people think, honestly, when it comes to that. But yeah, so last like 8 people I've gotten solid reviews and I've been posting on Instagram about them, and I'm really excited about that. And then, okay, so Malibu, we're back to Malibu, walking the beach. Oh, I had this when I first got there. I had this in the little surf town. I don't know what it's called, but really awesome hole in the wall sandwich shop that's like this French chef guy that like he like cooks something special for lunch every day and then like sells out all the time. And I just happened upon it because this is funny. I I so my wedding setup is like I have some pretty sturdy long stands that go pretty high, and I don't like to have like the normal typical tripod. I like to use umbrella stands because it's just tighter, it looks cleaner, it looks more professional. And so since I flew out to California for that trip, I didn't bring any of that type of equipment because the bases are just too heavy to fly with. And um, and so I went to a hardware store and picked up uh, a base for one of the light stands. It worked perfectly. But while I was going and getting that base from the hardware store, excuse me, I can't yawn on this. One more sip of coffee. While I was going, um, I saw like a line of a couple people just like lining up, and this little tiny shop, like seriously, it couldn't be more than 100 square foot shop, just tiny, tiny shop, with a guy like making preparations and bringing things in and out. And so I look it up on Google really quick. I'm like, why are these people standing here? And find out this is what like people are waiting for is for food and coffee. I'm like, that's convenient because I'm hungry and I would love to have a coffee. So I just stood in line with the rest of these people. Um, And then I stood there for like 15 minutes because everybody was early and it was crazy. By the time that they actually officially opened, this guy had like 50 people in line. And it was just like, I don't know. It made me think of like how cool small businesses can be if they get the type of support that they need to like survive and thrive. Like you don't need a full setup, and kind of remind me not of myself as much because like their food, making food and making videos are pretty different. Um, both artworks, but just totally different fields. But it's like the same concept. It's like you don't, if you have, 30 to 50 people that support you, like that is your client base and you can live off of those loyal customers. And that was just cool to me that like you don't really need that many people for a small business, and especially like the format of this business. Like he must have just cooked at home and brought these because he was serving grilled chicken sandwiches with this like everything was farm fresh. Like you could tell everything was just like on a nice baguette. And I asked him for a coffee, and obviously the coffee was just phenomenal. I think it was just like really normal brown sugar like coffee. Like I don't know. I think you like put coffee and you put brown sugar on top, and then you like put in this the espresso machine, and then it all drips down, does the whole thing, and then just a little bit of cream, and that was the best coffee I've ever had. And I'm like, man, do Europeans just like live this way? And another crazy thing is like I sometimes have like a sensitive stomach with foods and stuff. Not like any allergies, but just like if I go out to like fast food or whatever, I'll be effed up. And it's great, nothing. And it like how it was almost like a little taste of like the how people say that your gut health in European countries are so much better because they have better processes for coming from farm to the table type of thing, and they have less like preservatives and all that. At least that's what I hear. I don't do a lot of research on that area, but I just believe people. But I was like, man, that was awesome, and made me want to strive to eat that way more often. So yeah, those are a couple cool things because like the small business stuff, how cool. He only has one employee. The employee just opens for him and kind of just like helps because the other guy, the French guy, doesn't really speak that much English. And so it's like two guys in a tiny shop, and they make enough to support both of themselves. Just really freaking sweet. Mm. Honestly, I mean, I wonder if I could contact him and see if I could get him on the podcast or both of them on the podcast and just chat because I think that story and that, I don't know, that just seems very interesting to me. That also brings up a point of like, I want to have a side project. I want to have something that I'm working on for like 6 months at a time and like produce 2 cinematic YouTube films every year. I think that would be really cool to keep developing my skills in telling stories with different subjects and different people. And using the format of like podcasting with people, doing interviews, and also doing like a little, behind the scenes, kind of following them around for an afternoon or like a morning or something would be really interesting. And I think those businesses would like love to do that. And that's the hard part is like, there's things that I find interesting and I'd like to do, but then also it's like, I do this for a living. So there's got to be that line of like, okay, I want to do this, but I want to do this because I want to, and like the stipulations have to be well drawn out so that they're not, taking advantage of my what I do for work and for a living. And yeah, that's something that I've had to apply recently too, and just different relationships. Not something that I'll probably talk about on this podcast, but just like setting healthy boundaries with clients I think I mentioned it briefly on Clayton's podcast, the podcast with Clayton, but like same kind of stuff, just across the board with different people. Um, is interesting, but not super interesting to like continue to talk about. So, the rest of that trip from Malibu, French guy, and then I drove up the mountain to this little like top of the hill vineyard like Airbnb spot that they had for the wedding. Absolutely beautiful. Views were gorgeous. The weather was phenomenal. It looked like a slight chance of rain, but then it passed and it didn't rain at all. So they had a nice bright and sunny, exactly what the vibe that they wanted. The bride was actually she's actually she like started a business as she was planning her own wedding and was like, I could do this for people. And I think that was super cool because all of her details and everything was very organized, and yeah, just very, her business is called Sage and Lace, and just a very like well thought out, intimate wedding. Not a lot of people, but you got that long dinner table. You got all the details, the everything that you could ever want. I'm really curious what they spent on that wedding, because it seems more attainable for people to do stuff like that, because it wasn't like a venue. It had some space to set up like a ceremony, but I would kind of consider it a backyard wedding, but a very well done backyard wedding. So yeah, props to her. Little cheers to Sage and Lace. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, so then did the whole wedding that day, drove to my hotel, and then slept the night and came home. Or the next morning, I actually went and returned the base of the umbrella base, because that's the easiest way to do it. Just Home Depot, use it for literally a night. Don't hate me. Use it for a night, bring it back, and nothing's happened to it. And if it ever got damaged, like, I would just take the hit and just not return it, obviously. But usually their umbrella bases are pretty sturdy, so they can last. And then yeah, so then went down and returned the base. Went to the beach again to just hang out, because we're in Arizona, so it's nice to kind of get the ocean breeze and a little bit different climate and just take it in and watch the surfers a little bit. And I was like, dang, the surfers, they're all jacked. Like, they're all super fit. And I know surfing is like a pretty like cardio intense thing, but I don't know. I want to do more of it, because like running like it. But I don't love it like surfing or free diving, like spearfishing. And I was looking at like how many calories you can burn spearfishing, because spearfishing is something that I really like to do. I just haven't done enough of it. I've only done it like a few times, a handful of times, and nothing in the ocean. So it's all just like lake stuff. Still super fun. But so those are some definite goals I need to start incorporating more into my life. So one thing that I was chatting with my mom about the other day on the phone. I was like, I need to make my like website bio true again. Cuz I feel like when you do a business, it's like all encompassing business. Like, it's just like everything that, like, it's just, straight. It's just business. And you're growing and you're making decisions, and every decision you make is about business. And that's another thing that's hard, because like doing this is something that came from a passion turned into a business, is still a passion of mine. But it's easy to slip into a lifestyle where your passion is your job, but then your job is all you do. But you can kind of be like, well, it's what I love to do, and so you just keep doing it. And it's good to have that obsession, but it's also really healthy to have breaks and do other things just for like the life experience aspect of things. And so that's what I was telling my mom, and she agreed with me, and she's like, yeah, like you got to do those fun activities. Like in my bio, I have spearfishing, reading my Kindle. I do that. I definitely still do that. Surfing. I should put running in there. I haven't put running. Decoying for French ring for our club that we have here, which is called Dangerfield Ring Sport. If you ever want to look it up, it's very fun. And then, so it's like I am doing some of those things, but I just feel like occasionally I want to plan like trips and things to go and do the things to make your bio like reality again. And it's not a big deal if your bio changes, if your habits and like not your habits, but your hobbies change, or your things that you love in life change. I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, but I still love those things on my bio, and I just haven't done them in a long time. So that's something I'm going to do. And honestly, speaking of, there's another thing we can talk about. So me and Allie, if you've been following along at all on my Instagram, me and Allie, my fiance, are getting married in Glacier National Park next month. And Glacier National Park is in Montana. Montana is famous for all their lakes and clear waters and amazing hikes and bears and everything. And so I'm really excited to kind of like rekindle some of those experiences with Allie. From when I lived there and did some of those things like diving and spearfishing and hiking and all those fun things. So, one more sip. I lied. I still have a lot left to go. So we're not going to meet that 20-minute mark. We're going to be like more like 30. Sorry. For whatever you're doing right now, if you're just like cooking breakfast and drinking your own coffee, which is, I hope, what you're doing, is just drinking coffee with me and just chit chatting. Yeah. So wedding stuff, very cool, very fun. A little stressful. We're gonna plan an episode with me and Allie here after the wedding to talk about all the wedding experiences and things. And we have a lot of stories, and she has a lot of stories, especially on her side, because like for the guys planning and stuff, it's not that difficult. Like it's really not in comparison, in my opinion. Like I went and got my suit and went in there once. 15 minutes later, I was done, got the suit, came back one more time to just pick up the suit, and I was done. So I was at the store twice. Allie's gone to her bridal people with her dress and stuff like 7 different times. And then we'll talk more about this on the next podcast, but then they did her dirty with tailoring and left. I don't even know if they actually did any tailoring, if they did any adjustments on a certain part of her dress, but they left this huge chunk of material in the back. And so we took the dress to my tailor, who lives just around the corner over here. And like, he's like, oh, I got it. He's this foreign guy. And he's like, no problem. Like, I fix. And I'm like, perfect. Because literally we're only like, what's today? We're literally like a month out now. Yeah. We're a little less than a month out. So it's like, great. Of course. Like, I'm glad we're getting on top of it now. But could you imagine if we just like, if it was a couple weeks delayed? Like, I'm glad we did everything that we did and started everything when we started, because we would have been absolutely, and yeah, it would have been way more pressed for time. On my end, like, everything's been pretty okay. It's a lot more expensive than you think, and we're just eloping. And people say, oh, eloping, like, oh, is their parents okay with that? Everybody's fine with it. It's just the style of wedding that I'm describing. You could call it an intimate wedding. You could call it adventure, whatever wedding, or just because it's literally just going to be me, Allie, Jimmy, who's filmmaker, Jimmy Nelson, Cha Cod, and their spouses. So it'll be a total of 6 of us. So it's just really, really small, and no guests, obviously. I mean, our media team are our guests too, I guess. But at least we'll treat them as such. But yeah, we're really, really pumped that that whole side is done. I think I just have like one more payment on the Airbnb in a couple days. But yeah, it just adds up really fast. And so like we had a budget, and I think we're still within the budget. But I couldn't imagine doing like a traditional wedding. I would have to have made so much more money to make that like a thing. But it's also like it's not just a financial thing. It's a style thing, because we both have talked about this and we're like, yeah, we don't want to do a traditional wedding. It seems like it's good for some people, some families, some some couples and families are perfect fit for that type of event. And I've filmed plenty of them that are amazing. There are aspects of weddings, of all weddings, that me and Allie are just like, we could go without, um, and make the day more centered around us and going on a vacation, because we really don't go on vacations enough. So it was kind of like, let's do both. And yeah, and Allie's always wanted to go to Glacier National Park in the summertime, because we only went in the wintertime like years and years ago. So it's going to be really good. It's going to be fun. And then we're going to miss the dogs though. That's the other cool thing too about how everything's working out, is that all my projects are going to be done by the time we leave to Montana. And so I don't have to worry about any due dates or anything like that, which I feel like is very few and far between. Like I feel like I got something always going, which that reminds me I have to post a lot more. But anyways, so everything will be done, and then when we get all the, because I'm getting all the footage, and I'm going to be editing our film myself, and so I'll just be able to take from when we get it. I'll be able to take like a month and a half until the next wedding, because I think the next wedding we have is in September. I think the end of September. And so I'll have all this time to actually complete our film, as if like I just have another client, but it's our story, which is going to be super fun. And I'm really looking forward to that. And then we'll have something later in December, and I think we'll like show the film in December to both of our just immediate family. So my parents, siblings, and then her parents. And then we'll take some family photos and stuff just on property, and it'll be super fun, and I'm super stoked about it. So yeah, and then let's see if there's anything else that I want to touch on, because I do have a little bit more coffee left. Oh, we did some cool things with Lawrence from Eagle Adventure, Arizona. Or is it Eagle Adventures, Arizona? I think that's what it is. There we go. Soaring Eagle Adventures, Arizona. Got it. And I went to a couple of his adventures, and we did his adventures, and then we went on an adventure shoot, which is something that I offer on my business, is where we do something that the couple typically would do like on their own, and put it into their story and their film. So we went to Fossil Creek, one of the biggest waterfalls, and he showed us around. Unfortunately, his wrist was just a little busted up, so he couldn't do all the things we wanted to do, like in the water, and like I jumped off the ledge, but he couldn't, because he wouldn't. I mean, I would agree with you, wouldn't risk that. But yeah, so that was fun too, because I haven't done like cliff jumping. I don't know if I would consider it a cliff that I jumped off of. It was quite a distance, I would say, but like the biggest jump I've ever done. Um, but I don't know, because like cliff, you think like really, really high. Um, anyways, but I was being ridiculous, and I was like, whew, I was like psyching myself out, and then I like jump, and super worth it. I need to go back and do it 10 more times, honestly, because it was just so fun to kind of challenge yourself and get over your own fears, not fear, because I don't have a fear of heights, um, but you know that like anticipation of like, oh my gosh, never done it before, or haven't done it in a long time. So that's fun. All right, let's see if there's anything else online really quick, that'll jog my memory. That's one thing that we're doing is we're driving. We're driving to Montana, which is going to take like 19 hours. So we'll see how fast we can do that. Um, we've been we've done a few engagement sessions and a proposal recently, which was very, very fun. Definitely like proposals are just different. I don't do a ton of them, and I want to do more of them. But it was just like, it was fun to get out there and like, because like I've done it. I did it in February, so it's fun to like relive that through other people and capture it at the, at the same time. Just super invigorating experience, I would say. Um, so yeah. Ooh. Oh, the so I want to talk about awards really quick. This is one of the biggest one of the big things that I've been talking about with Allie. So wedding film awards, not specifically talking about the WAFA, the WFA that Kyle Hustis just made. The way he's doing the awards seems way more legit than others, but I do have a couple hot takes about it. Here's my thoughts. So most awards for photography or videography in the wedding industry are pay to play. So you pay a fee or pay a membership to be considered, and then you get your runner up or you get a nominee badge, but you essentially you pay this third party company to give you a logo for your website, and it's supposed to like make you more accredited, and like kind of show off your skills. Same with like featured in these magazines and or these Instagrams. There's some that are legit that like they will, I won't name names. They will like find good stuff to post and like luxury events or good work and stuff. But really, if you're not doing luxury events, you pretty much won't ever get picked because you, I, I have the opinion of like your work can be amazing, but the day will elevate it so much more. It's the same thing with like any production. Like if you have a low budget movie, it might be a great story, but I bet you if you had a budget, it would be 10 times better. Like props, sets, the lighting, the details, just everything. Um, so they're not picking these elopement films as like the best film of the year, typically. Um, and that's one thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way, with a lot of these made up awards, and there's a ton of them now, and they're trying to get people's money for nothing, and there's no actual judge. There's no like if you think about real cinema and the way they judge films or give awards for those films, like in Hollywood and stuff, they have, to my understanding, they have a blind audience of critics and viewers and things, and they watch a set of movies or one movie, and then the audience scores a few of the questions, and then you basically get an average, right? So then your average score would be like your Rotten Tomatoes, right? So that's what I would think would be the best way to do it, because there's going to be so many films and this is where I will say about the WAFA, the WFA Wedding Film Awards. It's there's some issues there, because it seems like Kyle and his partner they're going to do their own judging, like them two. They're going to decide who are the winners, and it's just a little. I would say that would be like, how could you not be partial, because you have your own style of work, and so the work that's closest to your style is going to get the awards typically, especially if it's only a panel of 2 people for judging. But if you have a randomized number or a randomized audience of 20 people, or better yet, I don't know, there's definitely a better solution though. Hang on. So if you did, let's say you got, that's a lot of work though. So you'd have to do, here's how you do it. So I would say what you would do is, yes. So if you have hundreds of videos, right? That's a ton. Someone's got to watch every single one. That's the crazy thing, is like, you have to go through a selection process. Someone's got to watch all of it and say, I think like this one, 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 these are all good. These other ones, because there's going to be people that are going to be entering that, no offense, their video is going to be shit. And you have to initially get those out so that your judges aren't judging crap and they're not wasting their time. So let's say you get to your top 30 films, right? Then you select the best, let's say the best wedding videographers, the 20 best in Arizona, right? So you select the 20 best, and you message them and say, you open a channel of communication, say, hello, this is the whatever, you've been selected as a judge. If you would like to participate, there are, like, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to have to watch 30 films and grade each one. Boom, you send that out to all the 20. And then then they do their homework, and it has to be due by a certain time, and you have to do it. Or if you have someone slacking that isn't watching them and isn't grading them, so it'll have to be done through a portal, I would say, so you can kind of like track when and how fast they watch these films and grade them. And if someone's lagging, you'd be like, hey, you've been removed from the judging panel since we need to have this done this date. And then select a new person, or like have runner-ups or somebody who's like prepped and ready to go. And I think they would have to be the experts too. The people who, like, I don't know, the people who don't really care about like wedding film awards would be the best selection. But I mean, basically I'm trying to avoid other videographers judging their own work. But if you average it across 20 people, it might be okay. You could judge your work 100%, but you'd still get an average, right? Okay, so that's fine. So you can enter your own work, and that's okay. Just working through this with my brain. So then, then the 20 people watch all the films, and then you get the averages, and then you can host your award ceremony. The other thing is, maybe I should just ask him. I'll message him and be like, hey, how's this even working? I have questions, because they have 15, I think they have 15 different categories. So it's like, So how are you going to make that distinction with the 20 people? How about have 5 categories and then like start at lower categories and then kind of build from there? But I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. And also, there's another thing that I'm like, the conflict of interest might be interesting because um, the Wedding Film Awards run by Kyle Hustis and his partner also have a mentorship program that they're running. And so it's like, if you're judging and you run an education program, who's not to say that, your students are going to be the ones to win because they're the ones learning your work and your style. You like I've seen a lot of those students like start editing exactly the way they do and like even coloring exactly the way they do. Nothing against it. Great films, but that's the problem. Like you got to have something that is more I'm trying not to use the word fair, but like is a little bit more of an even playing field for everybody, if that makes sense. And I don't know. I don't know if I should enter into it or not. The tickets are like 137 and I'd want to bring Allie and that is an expensive date night. I don't know if they provide food or if it's just a seat in the Orpheum Theater and that's it. So I'll have to do a little research and see. And I think I would put probably a couple of my films in. Also, I'm curious, is it like of all time? Does it have to be only weddings from the past year? Yeah, I don't know. See what I'm saying? There's a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. I need to just talk to him and DM him. Anyways, shout out. I should do a podcast with Kyle Hustis. He's got some awesome work and is really leading, a movement, which I think is cool. For like his coursework and stuff like that, and he's got like a studio, and it's been fun to watch his progression as a filmmaker. And yeah, I'll reach out to him, see if I can get him on the podcast. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this kind of format. It's very, very loosey goosey, very all over the place, very, very my brain sometimes, where it's like, oh, one thing to the other, and there's not like a super formatted, like case by case, subject to subject type of format. But if you like this and you enjoyed listening to, just like sipping your coffee and a little bit of update from me, let me know in the comment section below. Definitely subscribe because most of you guys are unfortunately not subscribers. I don't know why. But please go subscribe, support, and I want to try and grow this podcast into something that's really cool, and hopefully develop this podcast into like full films, feature stuff. Like I just want to create and keep creating and creating more, and have a way to also obviously fund it. Like if I can get a partnership deal, I'm not even counting on YouTube at this point because I don't even know. Like I'd rather get like a very particular funding from like a sponsor or something, and then whatever, just like have you guys skip over it if you want to, because everybody knows, everybody just skips over the ads. But it would be nice to be able to find out how to fund passion projects, and like the podcast is I do for fun, and expect no funding from it. But like if there's a way to start earning so that I could pour that into like full length or like short films, that would be sweet. I'll have to do a proof of concept first too, but yeah. Anyways, now I'm rambling. I have to get back to editing now. The coffee is gone, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.